Misty Green, and you're listening to the I Lead Misty Blue podcast, where strategy meets soul and faith finds its voice. We're continuing our journey through divine encounters, walking through 1st and 2nd Samuel, where every meeting with God reminds us that destiny is shaped through relationships, not perfection. From Hannah's surrendered prayer to Samuel's awakening, from Saul's unraveling to David's crowning, each story has revealed a God who moves through broken places, unlikely people, and sacred timing. And if you're joining us mid-series, I invite you to go back and sit with those earlier conversations, because each one reflects how God still meets us today. Now we arrive at episode 9, A Table for Two. Kindness meets a crippled past. And here is our truth for the day. Grace has a seat with your name on it, even if you limp, even if your story includes loss, even if your identity was shaped by what was taken, and even if you've learned to survive instead of to belong. See, God still sets the table, and He still calls you by name, and He still invites you to sit, not as a charity case, but as family. So pull up a chair, the table is set. In 2 Samuel 9, David asks, is there still anyone left of the house of Saul, that I may show the kindness of God to him? That word kindness in the Hebrew is referenced as chesed. Yes, it's difficult to pronounce. And chesed is not politeness. It's not charity. It's not obligation. Chesed is a covenant kindness. It is loyal love that keeps its word even when no one is watching. It is a reminder of the promise you made to another. It is love that honors promises long after circumstances have changed. It is mercy that remembers when the world forgets. David is not asking a casual question here. He is calling forth a covenant. He is remembering Jonathan, his friend, his brother in spirit, the one whose loyalty crossed bloodlines and throne lines. This is the moment where chesed becomes visible, where covenant becomes compassion, where memory becomes movement. Jonathan's son, Saul's grandson, was living in Lo-Debar, a barren land, a place whose name means no pasture, no promise, no word. Chesed does not wait for people to come out of Lo-Debar. Chesed goes looking, it goes searching, it goes to fetch them out. Mephibosheth is the rightful heir of the fallen line, crippled in his feet, hidden from view, and forgotten by the world, but not forgotten by covenant. In Bishop T.D. Jakes' classic sermon, A Long Way from Lo-Debar, he says, there's always a king's kid in Lo-Debar, the place where grass doesn't grow, but the king still has a seat for you. That is chesed, a seat prepared before restoration, a table set before healing, and a welcome extended before worthiness is proven. David's act of kindness is not random. It is chesed in motion, a divine encounter between legacy and loyalty, between promise and remembrance, between a king who keeps covenant and a son who never imagined he would be found. Chesed doesn't ask where you've been. It asks where you belong, and it places you there. When Mephibosheth was brought before the king, he falls on his face and says, what is your servant that you should look upon a dead dog like me? He expected rejection, but he encountered love and restoration. David answers, do not fear. You will eat at my table continually. The one who was dropped by a maid who was running gets a seat. The one who was forgotten and left in Lo-Debar is now fed. The one who was crippled by circumstance is now covered by covenant. Mephibosheth's story begins in tragedy. When he was a child, his nurse heard the news of Saul and Jonathan's death and fled in fear. Her haste, in her haste, she dropped him, and his feet were crippled for life. What felt like a devastating fall became divine protection, because without her flight, Mephibosheth may not have survived the vengeance that followed Saul's house. See, God often uses what feels like a fall to secure your future. Sometimes your survival is wrapped in what first felt like complete and total loss. This is the fruit of divine encounters. It's not transaction, but it's transformation that spans a generation, multiple generations. Jonathan's loyalty preserved Mephibosheth's life, and David's faithfulness, his commitment preserved Saul's line. And Mephibosheth would go on to have a son, continuing a legacy that by all logic should have died in Lo-Debar, the barren place. Without Jonathan's friendship and David's covenant, Saul's line would have ended in silence. Instead, it was sustained through chesed. That is why relationships matter. Your legacy depends on your connections and on your discernment. Every single relationship must pass through the threshing floor, the place where you separate the grain from what feeds your future, from the chaff that drains your destiny. You have to know who to take with you and who to leave behind. Your lineage is counting on your clarity. The connections you keep close today become the covering that your children will live under tomorrow. We have to learn to lead from covenant, not convenience. To honor relationships that have been threshed and tested by truth. To build tables, not thrones, and to invite those who remind you what grace feels like in action. See, divine encounters are not sustained by prayer alone. They have to be stewarded through action. There is someone whose name God has placed on your heart. Someone who can speak life into you, sponsor a dream, or help you step into a greater place of purpose. Don't reach out for selfish gain. Divineness does not share space with selfishness. You have to reach out to serve, to learn, to build, to take a humble posture, and to honor covenant connection. Kingdom relationships don't grow in convenience. They grow in care. Your prayers open the door, but it's your actions and your posture that set the table. Every single divine encounter has purpose. Some are here to teach us, to test us, and some they will completely transform us. But all of them draw us closer to the heart of God if we posture ourselves in humility and seek His purpose for our lives. Even when your past feels crippled, even when your faith it feels frayed and fragile, Hesed still has a seat with your name on it. This is the beauty of the table, where brokenness meets belonging and where legacy is reborn through loyal love. Pull up a chair. The table will continue to be set. Divine Encounters Appointed Time, Obedient Heart is streaming now on the I Lead Misty Blue podcast. Invite others to join in on this conversation. Like and share and leave a comment so I can know which part of this episode spoke to you.